Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I just like to share some of my personal experiences and synchronicities, as well as a channeled message today is what I usually do. And then at the end, I'm going to read a oracle card and maybe look up a few things that Spirit prompted me to look up on the internet. So I'm going to get right into it. And the first synchronicity I had was I saw a painting of the anonymous mask while we were in Durango going down the stairs of a coffee shop, and just, I don't know why, I just thought I needed to take a picture of it. And I've never seen the movie. I didn't really know much about it. And then I just felt prompted. I'm like, well, let me see what this mask is about. Let's go ahead and watch the movie. So we watched V for Vendetta last night. I had never seen it. My husband had seen it a few times, but I never had. So there is so much predictive programming in there. They talk about like the medical experiments and the pokies. And in a session this week, I saw some buildings. I don't know if they were burning or exploded, but the last time I saw a building on fire, it literally happened the next day. So I don't know what this is that I'm seeing, but it's interesting because in this movie at the end, he says, remember the 5th of November, and the Parliament building is pretty much torched at the end. So then I remembered also we adopted a senior greyhound, and this dog came in and we just kept the name that it had because it was a racing dog, and his name was Fawkes, and they told us that the owner named this greyhound after Guy Fawkes. And that dog passed away sadly in 2020, but he was just such a gentle, sweet soul. So another thing that came up in this movie was that one of the main characters, she was just put through like almost like a series of tests. And then at the end of the test, her captor said, oh, well, you're not in fear anymore, so you're free. So that was like a really interesting metaphor, I thought. So when we are free of fear, we free our soul, in other words. So anyway, there's a lot of really interesting stuff in this movie. It's not like, I don't think it's artistically an awesome, great movie or anything, but it just has a lot of things that are related to what's going on these days. So I looked up the name Guy Fawkes and what this mask represented, and it's kind of synonymous with anonymous. And on the internet it says, together the Guy Fawkes mask and the name anonymous represent protest against injustice, oppression, and the establishment. They're a symbol of decentralized organization and popularized by the graphic novel and film V for Vendetta, and was first used by the hacktivist group Anonymous to protect their identities during a protest against the Church of Scientology. Interesting. So they represent protest and defiance. The mask and name are used as a symbol of dissent against governments, corporations, and any perceived authority or tyranny. It's a leaderless structure and provides a way for individuals to protest without revealing their identity. It's anti-establishment and represents a rejection of traditional power structures, a fight for justice, and a voice for the people. So, interesting stuff that all of these synchronicities are coming up this week for me. And then I saw a guy and he was going through his calendar. I think it was kind of like an anon. And he said November 5th is Guy Fawkes Day. So very interesting that all these synchronicities came up right before November 5th. So I don't really know what's going to happen on that day. I never get dates. But Yeshua is definitely wanting to talk about this a little bit. So my friend Kimberly Palm at Spiritual Growth Journeys on YouTube just put out a video this week too, and she got some messages from Yeshua. She also got a message about the hurricane that happened in Jamaica, And she was talking about this cleansing out corruption. And I remember a few months ago, I received a channeled message, and it said something about let the rain cleanse or purify the land. So I thought that was interesting. She brought that up too. And it also reminded my husband of a book that he read called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And it was about the corruption in a kind of a similar way in Haiti. And I believe that this area was used for kid transporting. But in this book, it also talks about the kind of magic practices that they do there and how some of them are very dark, kind of like voodoo type stuff. So if there's like dark arts happening in an area, that stuff's going to be needing to be cleansed out too. So pay attention for that. And again, it's not that everybody there is evil or they're being punished. It's just there is a purification happening on the planet now. And I think that sometimes water is a very purifying way to cleanse things out. I also noticed Ishmael Perez had a video yesterday, and he was talking about how to join certain timelines and how to resonate with certain timelines. I thought that was some really good information there. And Yeshua wants to talk a little bit more about this as well. Then I noticed that Tarot by Isabella, she is a great tarot reader. I really usually resonate with her messages. I noticed she was talking about envelopes and that there's these envelopes that were about to be opened with top secret info, and that would be coming out to the public. And it made me think of what I mentioned in my last video, or I think it was my last video, that I pulled two tarot cards, and they both had letters in the artwork. And I was kind of asking about the Charlie Kirk situation, and I was shown letters. So we'll see if these envelopes that she's mentioning and the letters that I'm mentioning are kind of related. So very interesting. Another thing I noticed that was a synchronicity between things that I've said in the past and her message about, I think the video is called November Energy Update. She talks about power outages, and I remember I mentioned that we needed to have candles ready. And Yeshua wants to talk about the candles some more, because I think there's a double meaning, not only being ready for any kind of power outages, but also ready for using them for like more spiritual purposes as well. So he'll talk about that. And then I also noticed Tarot by Isabella mentioned the Hungarian, people agreeing with the Hungarian leader there and them kind of in accordance with each other. And I mentioned, I think it was last year, that the Hungarian leader was actually like a positive guy, or maybe like a white hat. Another thing that happened this week was when I was at the springs, there was tons of chemtrails, and all of a sudden this rainbow formed, and a lot of people call them chembos because they come from chemicals, I think. But it just formed this like really nice arch, which I've never seen happen before. And I had a client and I was telling her about it, and I love what she said. She says, "Oh, well, we're making rainbows out of their chemicals." So that was kind of cool. And maybe the rainbows are still being used by the divine to help us have hope that this stuff will be cleared out. Another thing that happened this week is I had a dream about the Kachina doll that's called the Sun Face Kachina. Sometimes it's called Tawa, and sometimes this people, they think that Tawa is the sun, is like kind of a representation of the divine, I think. So I wanted to read to you what I looked up about this Sun Kachina. So in Hopi and other Pueblo cultures, this powerful Kachina symbolizes warmth, life-sustaining crops, hope for a bright future, and is considered a creator spirit. The mask's colors represent dawn and the full sun, and Tawa is an important figure in dances and ceremonies that pray for blessings like sunshine and rain. Tawa embodies the sun's life-giving power, which is essential for agriculture and survival. It represents warmth, brightness, hope, playfulness. It appears in various rituals and ceremonies sometimes with the morning singer Kachina to welcome the sun at dawn. It is also present in winter dances to pray for the sun's return. So it could be like a solstice kind of energy as well. And in the dolls, it represents they're often carved from cottonwood, and the mask reflects the sun with colors that represent the dawn and the full sun. As a creator spirit, Tawa is responsible for the creation of all life in the fourth world, and rituals are performed in its honor. For the Hopi, Tawa was the most powerful of Kachinas because the sun is the brightest and largest of stars and essential for all life. And it's interesting because I was thrifting at my local thrift store, and I found a sun Kachina, and it's in my office now. It was my first Kachina doll I've ever found. So, yeah, very interesting, especially considering that the guides have been talking a lot about the solstice energies and how important those are. It's almost like I feel these holidays were kind of like put forward by the church and the government, but the solstice and the astrological alignments were more put forward by God. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Sometimes Christians will say, oh, that's all pagan stuff, but really, to me, these astrological alignments come from the Creator. So without further ado, I am going to read this message from Yeshua, and then I'm going to read the card that went along with it. Enjoy. I come from the heart of the Creator. You come from the heart of the Creator. We borrow this time to bring forth the message of co-creation with the one infinite great Spirit, the great I Am. There are many timelines available to you. Which timeline are you choosing to resonate with? Where does your energy flow? Are you in gratitude as you begin your day? Are you in fear? Are you in surrender? Are you in flow? Or are you in resistance? Are you in impatience? Where will you go this day, and what will you create? Energy flows where consciousness goes. You will flow towards that which you are in resonance with. Set up your energy for the day with intentions. What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to feel? What is it that you wish to see happen in your life? After intention comes action, if the soul signals it is time for action. Sometimes the soul may signal it is best to rest and wait out a storm. Listen to the kingdom within you. Listen to your intuitive insights. Are you being pushed into action, or are you being asked to refrain? Now is the time that the veil is thinning. It is good to practice listening to your own soul's guidance. If there is danger to dodge, it is possible to be led to safety. It is possible to ask for the protection you seek from the guardians of the Spirit. Rest in assurance that you can create new pathways through your own resonance with the pathway you seek. If you find yourself falling out of resonance with a desired pathway, look for ways to course correct in order to pull yourself back onto the timeline you seek. Is there a new spiritual practice you could engage with? Is there something you can do for yourself or another in order to lift the vibration of a situation? Do you need solitude? Or perhaps you are needing more connection with others? Sit with yourself and sit with your emotions. Feel into where your mind and body is wanting to take you in order to course correct or in order to experience something new. This being said, I wish to speak of the energy of the coming month of November. This is a month filled with twists and turns, as an upheaval is occurring, and it is no surprise, as we have been speaking of a great change and a coming shift for several years now. I wish to speak of a burning down of old institutions that are not in true service to humanity. This burning down may be literal or metaphorical. You may see more buildings in flames and also the splitting of worlds. Some wish to remain in the old world with these old structures. Others who are less in numbers but greater in wisdom wish to move out of the old world and its old structures. Who are the builders? These are they who came with a mind and a passion to restore and recreate. Some come from the past and have already been involved in creating beauty and incredible feats of engineering, art, and music, and all forms of incredible creation. Great Spirit has put a builder in place to open the way for this new renaissance, which will be a golden age with an explosion of creation. November will show you who is at odds with this beautiful path of restoration. Those who are at odds with restoration have in mind an inverted reset, that they shall be seen for all they intend to do with it in regards to this agenda of control. The masked one represents the vendetta of the people. Many egregious harms have been done to humanity, and especially to the innocents. There will be waves of anger continuing because of these atrocities and the uncovering or apocalypse that is taking place. But I say unto you, have peace, for as these crimes are revealed, the criminals will be brought to dust, and their influence and power will be continuing to diminish. Let the lowly rise, and the high and mighty fall. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. Many have cried that nobody is above the law, and they shall receive their own decrees, as all is flipped and reversed to support truth, justice, and restitution. Watch as the courts and rulings are reversed in favor of divine law. Watch the judges as corrupt rulings fail and are overturned in favor of the people. You will see this with media, medicine, politics, and more, as what was stolen begins to be returned. It is the law of karmic call and response. The culture that was assaulted will be restored as the light of the sun continues to raise up humanity's mind, body, and spirit. You will see more people who are ready, listening to the divinity within, rather than outside authorities. No rock shall be left unturned as the hunters become the hunted. Stay tuned to the higher frequencies of love and trust as the collapse of unloving structures continue to unfold and more loving structures are built in their place. For it is the will of the Most High that heaven and nature sing as one and commune with the spirit of truth and sovereignty. You are love. Be the light. Be the frequency that brings on this heavenly communion. It is your birthright. It is a new song. So it will be for those who have come to bless and restore, and in return be restored. Those who seek humbly the mantle of this precious mission will find themselves protected, blessed, and in resonance with divine law and divine gifts of the Spirit and gifts of the natural. As you receive, you will be able to impart more of what you are and what you bring to the table to others. So open your hearts to receive. The candles are not just for possible days of darkness, but they are also a way to spiritually call in the light of your angels, your star family, and the Great Spirit. The Nordic traditions used the flame to honor the coming light during solstice, and these time-honored traditions can bring one closer to Spirit, as I often incorporated fire as a remembrance of the light of the soul. You would do well to learn of these Nordic solstice traditions with fire, as the eternal flame within you grows brighter. You begin to go deeper into the celebration of the sun and the solstice, and feel the light of the Creator within you. It is my wish that as you embark upon new spiritual traditions that resonate with your soul, you begin to remember who you are as an eternal being of light. You are so loved and cherished, and all of heaven surrounds you with its company of love, peace, and hope. This is my wish for you and my wish for a brighter earth. So it is. I am Yeshua, friend, teacher, and bearer of the Christed flame. Thank you, Yeshua. So he's, again, kind of bringing up this cross-cultural traditions that have to do with astrological things and alignments and solstice. And so I looked up the Nordic use of candles during these times, especially since we are moving into the winter solstice. I found something called St. Lucia's Day. You probably know about this and practice it if you live in the north, and it's one of the most famous Scandinavian candle ceremonies. It's a procession led by a young girl dressed in a white gown and a crown of lit candles, followed by attendants also holding candles, and this ritual celebrates the return of light during the darkest time of year and symbolizes purity and hope. And candles in general hold significant cultural and ceremonial importance in Nordic countries, both historically and in modern times, primarily symbolizing light overcoming darkness, hope, purity, and unity. This use is especially prominent during the long, dark winter months and in life cycle events. So I thought that was really beautiful. And I'm going to think about incorporating that into my own practices this winter. So I drew a card, and the deck I was drawn to is the Isis deck by Alana Fairchild, and the card is called Eye of Horus. It says the Eye of Horus brings divine perception, protection, and insight. You are gifted with certain spiritual abilities, including divine sight, that are awakening and growing now. You have much divine support and protection so that you may grow your abilities and serve others with your divine gifts. Trust your perception and know that you are divinely protected. And Yeshua talked about this in the channeling, that we can use the candle and the flame to call in the protection of our guardian angels. So I hope you guys enjoyed that message and something resonated with you today. If you would like to connect with me, please go to redmountainshaman.com, and you can go to my contact page and learn how to book a session. I hope you guys all have a great week, and we will reconvene next Sunday. I do my Sunday sermons every week, so stay tuned, and we'll talk soon. Take care.